Welcome to our lecture on metric spaces. Today we are going to explore two fundamental ideas, compactness and boundedness. We will see why simply having a boundary is not always enough, and why compactness is one of the most powerful properties a mathematical space can possess. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how these concepts differ.
Let us start with an intuitive picture. Imagine trying to protect a large garden from the winter cold using small blankets. If the garden is bounded, it simply means it has a finite size, like a fenced yard. But a fence does not guarantee you can cover every plant, especially if there are bottomless pits where blankets fall through. Compactness is a much stronger property. A compact space is so tightly packed that you are absolutely guaranteed to cover it using only a finite number of blankets, no matter how small they are.
Now that we have an intuition, let us look at the formal mathematical definitions. In a metric space, we have a specific rule to measure distance between points. A subset is bounded if there is a single finite number larger than the distance between any two points inside it. On the other hand, a subset is compact if every open cover has a finite subcover. Think of an open cover as a massive collection of fuzzy bubbles that swallows our set. Compactness means you only ever need a finite number of those bubbles to do the job. Before we prove our main theorem, let us look at how we actually measure these distances conceptually in one dimension. This formula is the standard metric for the real number line, and it forms the foundation of our geometry. It tells us that the distance between any two points, x and y, is simply the absolute value of their difference. The absolute value bars ensure our distance is always a positive number, regardless of which point is larger. If you increase the gap between x and y, the physical distance grows proportionally. We will use this exact formula to prove that a specific set is bounded. Let us see this in practice with a simple numerical example. We are given the closed interval from 0 to 10 on the real number line. We are told this set is compact and our goal is to prove it is bounded. To do this, we need to find a single real number, which we will call m, that is greater than or equal to the distance between any two points in our set. The logical first step is to test the extreme edges of our interval, because this guarantees we find the absolute largest gap. Continuing with our calculation, we substitute the smallest possible value, 0, and the largest possible value, 10, into our distance formula. The absolute value of 0 minus 10 gives us exactly 10. Because no two points in this interval can be further apart than these extreme endpoints, 10 is our maximum possible distance. We have found our bounding number m. Since the distance will never exceed 10, we have successfully proven that the set is bounded, which perfectly matches our expectations. Now we are ready for one of the most important rules in topology. Compactness always guarantees boundedness. To prove this, we construct a specific open cover conceptually. In this mathematical expression, K represents a compact set, and B is an open ball centered at a random starting point P with a radius of n. The large union symbol means we are combining all these balls together for every whole number radius from 1 to infinity. As the radius n increases, the balls get bigger and bigger, eventually swallowing every single point in the entire space. This guarantees they form a valid open cover for K. Let us begin the first chunk of our proof, where we set out to establish that the set is trapped. We already know that our set K is compact. This is where the strict mathematical definition of compactness kicks in to help us. The definition guarantees that we do not actually need all infinitely many balls to cover the set. We only need a finite number of them to achieve the exact same coverage. We can pick out a specific finite list of radii, which we have labeled n1 through nk. This logical step shows that our set K is completely contained within this small finite collection of open balls, setting us up for the final conclusion.
Continuing our proof, we now look at our finite list of balls and find the one with the absolute largest radius. We call this maximum radius n. Because all the smaller balls are completely swallowed by the single largest ball, we can safely throw the smaller ones away without losing any coverage. This means our entire set K fits perfectly inside just one single ball of radius n. Since n is a finite number, we have found a single finite boundary that encloses everything. This gives us our final result. Because it does not stretch past this boundary, the compact set K is definitively bounded. This diagram perfectly illustrates the proof we just walked through. Look at the center point P. The smaller dashed circles represent our initial open balls with radii of 1 and 2. The solid wavy line represents our compact set K. By starting with small bubbles and letting them grow, we eventually find one massive, finite bubble labeled BPN that completely swallows the entire compact set. This visual confirms that any set possessing the strict property of compactness is trapped within a finite distance, making it bounded. Now we must look at the reverse situation, which is a very common trap for students. Just because a set is bounded does not mean it is compact. Let us consider the open interval from 0 to 1. This set includes all numbers between 0 and 1, but it strictly excludes the exact endpoints. It is obvious that the set is bounded because the distance between any 2 points is always less than 1. However, we are going to show that it is absolutely not compact. To prove this open interval is not compact, we must find a bad open cover. Conceptually, we need to create an infinite collection of open bubbles that successfully covers the entire interval, but completely fails if we try to use only a finite number of them. We define a specific open set UN for every whole number n starting from 2. As the variable n gets larger and larger, the fraction 1 over n gets smaller and smaller. This means the left edge of our bubble gets closer and closer to the missing endpoint 0. Combined up to infinity, they will cover the whole set. Let us test the definition of compactness on this cover. What happens if we stop at some finite number k? If we only take a finite number of these sets, we can combine them to see their total coverage. The combined coverage will only stretch down to the fraction 1 over k. It will never actually reach all the way down to 0. This leaves a gap in our coverage near the 0 endpoint. This gap is the critical failure point for compactness. To prove that this finite collection fails, we pick a specific point x that is equal to 1 divided by 2k. Because this point is smaller than 1 over k, it sits completely outside of our finite collection of bubbles. However, it is still greater than 0, so it is supposed to be inside our original open interval. Because a finite number of bubbles left this point uncovered, the set is not compact. This proves definitively that being bounded does not automatically mean a set is compact. Why do we care so deeply about compactness and boundedness? In real-world applications like economics, physics, and engineering, we constantly want to find the maximum or minimum value of something, like maximizing profit or minimizing energy. A famous mathematical rule called the extreme value theorem states that a continuous function is absolutely guaranteed to have a maximum and a minimum if it operates on a compact set. If the set is only bounded, the function might slip through a hole in the boundary. Compactness provides a mathematical safety net. Let us summarize what we have learned today. Compactness is a powerful, strict property that ensures a space is tightly packed and perfectly enclosed without any missing edges. We proved that every compact metric space is automatically bounded, meaning it can be enclosed in a single finite ball. However, we also saw that the reverse is not true. A bounded space can easily fail to be compact if it is missing boundary points.
Understanding this relationship is a crucial stepping stone for mastering advanced mathematics.